Hi, I'm Rev Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for 43 years. I'm going through the lessons again this year, asking Jesus for clarity, and then I write from that clarity, and that's what I'm sharing with you now. So before we get started, I'd just like to ask if you find this helpful, please like it, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe. That'd be very helpful. Also, please comment if you feel like it, because I love reading the comments. Okay, so let's get started now. We're looking at number 11. This is going to be our new topic. What is creation? Creation is a sum of all God's thoughts in number infinite and everywhere without all limit. We are creation, so this is about us. We are infinite in number and we are everywhere. Does that have any actual meaning to you? It doesn't to me, but it has a feeling. I don't have words to describe that feeling, but it would be the opposite of what it feels like to believe I'm a body with all its limits. In the body, it feels singular and infinite, limited in every way possible, destined to be in one small part of this vast universe at this time. It's the opposite of knowing when this body was born and knowing it will die. I imagine letting go of the limits a body imposes on me in an explosion of delight and freedom, throwing off these limits and exist as I was created eternally. That's as close as I can come to explaining the feeling. God's thoughts are given all the power that their creator has. In the body, I have the power to invent and to create in limited ways. Each person has a small power. In some, it's greater than in others, but always there are limits. In reality, I have the power of creation on the same level as God. In truth, I am not separate from any other, forever equal and part of the whole, untouched by time and what happens in time, always remaining as I was created. Creation is the Holy Son of God, for in creation is his will complete in every aspect, making every part container of the whole. This is hard for us to understand. How can we be a part of the whole and still contain the whole? I was thinking of it like this. The whole is the ocean, and a drop of the ocean holds all that the ocean holds. It's an inexact analogy, but as close to understanding as I can imagine. But I do know that our oneness is guaranteed, and we cannot be affected by our foray into the idea of separation. We are creation, we, the sons of God. This is one of my favorite sentences in the Course. It sends a thrill through me to say it. Perhaps a thrill of recognition that doesn't quite reach the level of clear memory, but is somehow known. Jesus says that, yes, this is what's happening. The memory of our eternal unity with God remains in our minds. It seems to be there just beyond the conscious awareness. It is our purpose to bring that memory forward. Jesus says, let our function be only to let this memory return, only to let God's will be done on earth, only to be restored to sanity, and to be but as God created us. And he says, our Father calls to us. When I began to study the Course, I often wondered why I was doing that. Why did I believe what no one else I knew believed? Why did I believe what made no sense to me? And yet, I continued to believe it and to study and practice. I did this because I heard our Father's call to me. And so that brings us to our next lesson, which is lesson 321. Father, my freedom is in you alone. I did not understand what made me free, nor what my freedom is, nor where to look to find it. Father, I have searched in vain until I heard your voice directing me. Now I would guide myself no more. For I have neither made nor understood the way to my freedom, but I trust in you. You who endowed me with my freedom as your holy son will not be lost to me. Your voice directs me, and the way to you is opening and clear to me at last. Father, my freedom is in you alone. Father, it is my will that I return. Today we answer for the world, which will be freed along with us. How glad are we to find our freedom through the certain way our Father has established. And how sure is all the world's salvation when we learn our freedom can be found in God alone. All attempts to fix the world reinforce the belief that the world caused the problem. I have spent so much of my life seeking freedom where it can't be found. When I was lonely, I sought it in special relationships. If I could only find the right partner or a best friend, someone who would be there for me in a way that satisfied my sense of loneliness. But I was always left unsatisfied, and so I kept looking. When I didn't have enough money, I worried. I found a new job and worked harder. Somehow, it never seemed enough. When I got sick, I depended on a doctor, a new medicine, a promising supplement, whatever was on offer. Sometimes it worked, but there was always another sickness or painful condition. Turning to the Holy Spirit begins to create actual change, not by fixing the external situation, but by dissolving the fear behind it. This was the problem. The problems never ended. Solve one and another showed up. I was looking in the wrong place for my solutions. The world will never satisfy, no matter how I try to manipulate it. That is one thing I did finally learn. God is the answer to everything. I began turning to the Holy Spirit for guidance, healing, and comfort. That is when things began to change. I had to learn to listen and receive. For me, this worked best as I wrote what came into my mind. I'm not sure when I began to do this regularly, maybe 20 years ago. The more I did it, the easier it became, the clearer the message. Then I had to form the habit of using the guidance consistently. All along the way, I experienced shifts that are hard to put into words. But let me try. Fear is not in you. You are the one watching fear arise. Fear has always been my hardest emotion to overcome. I would be afraid for one of my children, and I might fret over the situation for days, weeks, even longer. I would be miserable in my fear as it felt unrelenting, but I would eventually ask the Holy Spirit to heal my mind. And in desperation, I would really mean it. The resultant peace felt like the miracle it was. Slowly over time, I began to accept healing much faster and with less suffering. Now I've experienced a new shift. My daughter texted me yesterday saying they were cutting their weekend trip short and coming home. My immediate response was a surge of fear. They had looked forward to this, and I couldn't imagine why they were coming home. What had happened? But before I could turn it into a story, the fear faded away. I asked what happened, and it was a series of mechanical problems with the RV. Nothing serious at all, just frustrating. I'm glad for that, but I'm also happy that the fear didn't take over. Here's another example. For a long time now, I've forgotten things and been afraid that I was getting Alzheimer's like my mom did. Each time I forgot something, I would feel that spike of fear, and then I would think about it until the next big deal took my attention. Slowly, as I worked my way through this fear with the Holy Spirit, asking for correction in my perception, it got better, but never went away. A couple of days ago, I missed a doctor's appointment. I knew I had one, but I got mixed up and thought it was the following week. For a moment, the familiar spike of fear occurred as I tried to understand how I could have made that mistake, but it quickly faded. I was afraid, then I wasn't. I didn't try to do anything to mitigate the fear, it just wasn't there. I just took care of the situation. Again, the quick undoing felt like a miracle. These examples are what a shift can look like. A familiar situation consistently experienced in a different way as a result of allowing the Holy Spirit to heal my mind. My part was to ask and receive guidance and healing. I had to do it often enough that my mind finally accepted it at a deeper level, and the shift occurred. It didn't occur because I tried to change the world, which is just an effect, but because I changed my mind, which is the cause. I turned away from the world into God instead. I let Him change me. Once I stopped looking for freedom where it cannot be found, the Holy Spirit can directly heal the mind. In doing this work, I have learned that the world is not my problem. Identifying with it is. I'm not the body, nor am I the thoughts and emotions I experience. I am spirit. When I felt fear before, I thought I was afraid. Now I see that fear is just an experience I'm aware of. This is not firmly established in my mind yet, but it gets stronger every day. It didn't happen overnight, but it is happening, and I'm grateful. To summarize, the world isn't the problem. Identification with it is. Fear isn't you, but a passing experience of consciousness. Freedom comes from remembering you are spirit. Freedom is already here, quietly waiting beneath every fear we surrender. Each moment we turn toward the Holy Spirit, the world loses its power to define us, and the light within rises to meet us. Thanks so much for joining me in this reading. I'm so happy that we got this chance to share. And I will be back soon with another reading. See you then.